Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to One Beat, One Take. I'm back with another episode. Happy Valentine's Day. For today's episode, I'm going to do things a little differently. I want to try and make an R&B emotional style beat. So I'm going to continue this Looperman series. I'm thinking of maybe doing one more episode after this one using loops from the website, and then I'm going to get back into chopping samples. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the tempo to 65. Alright, so it's going to be a slow sounding beat. I'm going to play the original sample, and then from there I am going to remix the sample, try and flip it, and then make a beat over it. So here is the sample. It's a guitar sample, and it does not have any effects on it. Okay, so what I want to do now is first change the pitch of the guitar. So we're going to go to pitch shifter. Then from there we're going to go into fifth. We're going to raise the mix all the way up to 100. And let's hear it at -2, and then from there decide whether to raise it to -1 or maybe raise it to 1. It doesn't sound half bad. Let's hear it at -1. And lastly at -3. So far, I believe that the -2 one might sound the best so far when changing the pitch to a lower tone. Now, based on these three sound pitch changes I've heard, I am going to go with the -2. I think it's right down in the middle, and that I think it flows a little better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a modulation chorus effect like I've done for a lot of previous my beats I've done on this series so far. And let's try with the slow chorus. Alright, that might not be the best one either. Let's try slow oscillating modulation. I'm going to try one more, and if I still find that it doesn't really sound that great with these modulation effects, then I may not even do a modulation effect after all. I thought about it now, and a lot of the beats that I've been doing this effect on have been more synth bass or piano bass. For a guitar, I've never done using a sample for guitar before, so I may not even use it after all. But let's try one more with glimmering chorus. Yeah, you know what? I don't like how these chorus modulations sound. So I'm going to take that off and instead skip the modulation plug in, and let's add some reverb. And now let's try and add an EQ and a compression before we start to make where the chorus would be. So first the EQ, guitar. Now let's try E bass. I think that sounds pretty good. From there, now let's add compression. Guitar we'll do once again. And let's try rock bass. That's too loud. I want something that's not as heavy, but at the same time will acoustic. There we go. That might be a little better. Alright, so I'm just gonna go with this for now. I may add another plugin for later on for this guitar sample, but for now what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy and paste it, and we're gonna shorten this so that way it's just from the 5 to the 7. I'm gonna hit the loop button, the L keyboard shortcut, have it up to here, and we're gonna copy and paste this one right here. Alright, so we have where the intro of it would be and the chorus area. So what we want to do now is create a drum beat. So I'm going to open the EXS24 sampler, and I'm going to try a different kit this time that I haven't done before, that I recently added, and that's the Asparagus Lo-Fi drum kit. So I'm going to open the piano roll, and let's make a beat with the kick and snare. I'm going to do the kick first. Let's find the right kick. That's the 808. A little louder. There we go. Trying to find the right sounds for this one. Let's hear this back real quick. And we're gonna copy and paste the snare and the clap onto a separate track. So let me remember to do that as well. But these aren't on the same track. There we go. And specifically, I think what I'll do is I'm going to make this be for the chorus. I may want to use a snap for the verse. Just making some extra kick drums in there. Alright, so what I want to do now is I'm going to take this, we're going to duplicate it. So we got 2 tracks, and I'm going to open this and I'm going to copy and paste the snares and claps onto a separate track. So we're going to hit the copy button, hit delete. Now we're going to open the piano roll right here. We're going to hit edit paste. Hang on a moment, let me see what happened. Okay, it ended up doing the entire track, I see. Alright, we're gonna just delete the kick drums then. Oh wait, no, never mind. End up pasting them in the wrong area though. Yeah, this is better. There we go. So let's hear this back without the guitar just to make sure we're soloing it. There we go. So we're going to have to lower the volume of the guitar temporarily until we have the plugin set. So let's move this all the way down at 9. Oh, no, never mind. Move this down at 5. Alright, we're going to open a new kit. And let's see what happens when I type R&B. It's studio R&B, but that's not really what I want. I've heard the sounds in that. If I type soul. Alright, we're going to try neo soul. Let's hear how the hi-hat sounded in that kit. First, let's find a hi-hat. Okay, definitely not that. That might be fine. I accidentally duplicated that. So just adding in the notes. Let's hear this back. Alright, now this definitely is going to need a lot of work. Now rather than doing a modulation effect, actually, let's try doing the phaser plugin I've done a good amount in the past. Put this at phase filter 01 and let's hear it back now. Alright, now hang on a second. I actually may want to change this kit I have for the lo-fi snare. I think I could find something a little bit better than that. So we're going to click on the EXX sampler. See how we have it here on lo-fi. I'm going to go through all my different kits I have here. And I'm going to go with the Ninth Wonder drum kit. Specifically, just to see if we have a better hitting snare that might be able to fit it. That might be a little better. No, let's just lower the volume though. on a second. Let's hear this back. It's hard to really say which one I like the most, but I'm gonna go with this one for now. Let's go back to the kick drums, and let's hear how these sound on the other kick drum I had that's one note higher. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this Ninth Wonder drum kit, move this up, and we're going to add another hi-hat in. There we go. I'm gonna play that along with it. I'm not trying to make a trap beat for this installment. So let's hear how this sounds like that. Alright, I think that sounds pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another new track. I'm going to open the EXS24 sampler. I'm going to go to the Lex Luger kit. I'm going to add one more hi-hat. And then from there, like I've done in the past, we're going to make the beat progress. Okay, let's lower this all the way down. Let's hear it back. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy and paste this track with the kicks. And we're going to delete these kicks we have here, and we're going to add a snare roll. So we're going to open piano roll. And now I recently learned something new I want to show. Instead of having to make them all small snares, I'm going to try using the scissor tool to cut this in half. So let's see if I get this right. There we go. So you see there with the scissor tool, you don't necessarily have to just shorten them with the mouse. You could just cut them in half. So I think that's pretty cool that they have that feature. All this time I've been making beats, I've never realized that. So I'm going to now copy and paste this. Do it right at the 13. Alright, now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this track and move this one down. So we're going to turn off the phaser effect on where the chorus would be, just because I want to hear what it sounds like without it. Before we do that though, what I want to do now is I want to move these hi-hats further into the beat right here. There we go. So let's delete this kick. Alright, hang on a moment. Debating on whether or not I should add a different type of snare for the main melody. Either way, this is going to sound more like an emotional hip-hop style beat, but at the same time, I want it to feel like an emotional type of beat. I don't want this to emulate a trap style beat that I've done in the past. I don't want all my beats to sound trap influenced. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to still keep these actually. Let's keep them. Delete this kick drum here. I'm gonna delete those and we're just gonna put a regular kick in there. Alright, let's change the sound for this one. Let's hear this back. Now I don't like those claps I have here. Yeah, I'll go with that actually. In a sense, I feel like it does need the extra snare there. Alright, now hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the hi-hat pattern for this part. Now let's hear this back. Oh, hang on, so let's delete that. Alright, so just a basic idea. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to maybe add a shaker. Let's try adding a shaker into this kit. So we duplicated the 9th Wonder drum kit. Let's find it. It must be in here somewhere. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on every three note. 1, 2, 3. Like so. We're going to X that out. I'm going to move this right here. There we go. Now let's hit the space bar to hear how it sounds with the shakers in it. Alright, there we go. Now I want to add maybe a chant sound effect in there. So I'm going to create a new track. Now recently I ended up downloading another new sound kit that I previously didn't have. I'm going to open Sampler. And we're going to go to chants. And we're going to hit the ignore button. Some of the samples I put in there aren't entirely coming up. So let's find a chant that would go, that may sound good into it. No, I'm not gonna go with that one though. I kind of like that one. Alright, let's move this down and we're gonna lower the volume. So we have it on 0. I'm gonna put this all the way down to -8. I think it sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna now create a snare roll yet again. And then from there we're gonna do where the beat would progress for later in the verse. I'm gonna try and speed up the hi-hats, maybe make them a little smaller. So we'll hear how that sounds. Okay, I'm going to use a scissor tool yet again. And go right down the middle. Alright, hang on a second. That's me, could have done that better. There we go. And we have it. Alright, so let's switch back from the scissors tool to the pointer tool. We're going to copy and paste this yet again. Alright, we're going to duplicate the hi-hats here. Let's hear how that sounds real quick. Actually, no. First, I'm gonna add these hi-hats. Move it down. I'm going to move this down. We're going to, once again, shorten these hi-hats. Alright, let's hear how this sounds in the meantime. Alright, we're going to change up the chant and we're going to have duplicate it, move this one down right here, stretch it all the way out, and the shakers are going to play the entire time like I had for this one. And let's see if we have a different chant we could use to go on while it's playing. Alright, I may delete 2 of them in this, but let's hear how it sounds with it increased. A little too loud. Alright, we're going to move these ones for the sample up, and we're going to lower the volume yet again. Let's try it at -8 without that effect. Alright, hang on a second. I want to also add my tag into the beat. So one moment. Let's find that real quick. There we go. New tag right here. Just going to add an effect onto the tag and lower the volume all the way down. And from there, what I think I could focus on, like I've done in the past, is adding the different plugins into the different sounds and then add 808s. It may not be a trap beat, but I feel like regardless, you could have 808s to go over a kick, no matter what type of production you're aiming for. So I'm going to do ambience. We're going to raise that all the way to 72. And lower the volume all the way down to -8. Let's hear that back with the too loud. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to do the mixing like I normally would for the snares, but I'm also going to have it as a separate track for the chorus, just because you could hear the difference in the loudness of the snares I use for the chorus versus for the verses. So now the first thing I want to do before we work on that is the kick drums. So what I want to do is I want to add an EQ. And now for this one, I think I'm going to stick to what I normally would with the punchy kick. So let's hear that back. Let's try a rock kick. Let's move this down actually. I want to hear how this would sound without these hi-hats in it just yet. Alright, so I think the kick drum is fine. It's really what I need to work on now is the snare drums. So the first thing I want to do is click a channel EQ, and let's go through some of these to determine which might be the best one. Now for a lot of them I've done in the past, I've been using the natural snare. We're going to try that first, and if I don't think that one sounds as good, I may switch it to the refresh snare. So let's try natural first, and we're going to lower the volume after I hear it, because I don't know how it's going to sound at -5. Alright, let's add some platinum verb. Alright, so what I ended up adding was the vintage snare. Let's hear how this sounds back for the main one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this drum track, and we're going to drag down the snares that are going to be used for the verse, and we're going to raise it up. As you can hear the difference, these snares are a lot lower in the loudness compared to the snares for the chorus. So we have this at -9. We're going to raise it. Let's hear it at -6. Might have to move it back down to -7, but at least get an idea. Now I got an idea actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back down, and let's hear how it might sound with this effect still on it. And then you only have the main effect, you don't have the phaser effect on the chorus area. But keep it still on the verses. Let's hear how that sounds. I think that's a little better, and I think that's the format I'm going to stick with for this beat. You'll have a different sound for like the area for the chorus, but it'll be the same one here for the verses entirely. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to these neo soul hi-hats. So as you can see, it has a default plugin manual. We're going to change that, and let's do it on standard hi-hat EQ. We may have to lower the volume a little bit after adding that in there. We're going to lower it just slightly. Alright, I think that sounds pretty good overall for the hi-hats. Now, for these hi-hats, we're going to add some plugins for that. We're going to go to Channel EQ. And I think I've done it with the previous videos. I'm going to do the standard hi-hat EQ here. So we're going to have to lower the volume because I definitely think it's going to sound a little louder. Let's just add the reverb. Yeah, you can hear the difference in the volume. I'm gonna add compression, see if I have to lower it some more after adding that in there. I think that sounds pretty good. So what we got left for this beat until we could work on the 808s is the shakers, another hi-hat, and we have 2 chants. So let's now focus on the shakers. Now for the shakers, I usually like to do vintage hi-hat for my EQ. So we're going to go to drums, vintage hi-hat. Let's play that back. We'll lower the volume to 10.0. Just wanted to make sure how it sounded. In the sense, the shakers are layered with the hi-hats, but at the same time, I think you'll be able to still notice them. So now we got the hi-hat right here. Once again, for that, I'm gonna continue with using the vintage hi-hat plugin. Sticking with the same plugins, as you can see. Now let's see when it comes to the loudness, whether or not I'm going to have to lower it from where I have it or raise it. Alright, I think the volume is good on that part. For the hi-hat that introduces the area where the verse would begin. So like I said, I just got to do these two chant plugins now. So I'm going to continue with the format. I feel like it's the best format when using vintage hi-hat on chants and very, minor sound effects. So let's hear with this. So I'm going to lower the volume for the area where I have this chant. $14 seems like it makes sense. Alright, once again, actually no, we're gonna just duplicate the track, just because they're both from the same sound kit that I have there. So we're gonna raise this up. We hit the delete button, and we have it right here at 14. I believe I'm gonna have to raise it, but let's hear it back. I believe 16 might be a good one for that. Alright, there we go. So the last step of this beat is to create the 808s. So I'm going to continue the format from last episode. It will add some minor changes to the format, but I believe it's a good one. I'm going to go to ES2 Synthesizer 2. And we're going to go to Tutorial Settings, Analog Saw Init, change it from poly to mono, change this sound wave to a sound wave right here. I'm going to increase the distortion. add some drive, turn this into, we're going to turn this off and put this on envelope 1, raise the volume. This one on R long, we're going to raise that all the way up. This one here, we're going to move this up a little bit, slightly. And we're going to lower this all the way to, let's do it to 18. Alright, that's the formula I like to use when working in this saw init for the 808s. So the next step is we're going to create an EQ, channel EQ. I'm going to move this one all the way up. There we go. We're going to move this one as well, all the way up. Then from there, we're going to open limiter. Increase the gain all the way up. And we're going to put the output level at -1. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste these kick drums so that way they're layered with the 808. So I'm going to have to lower the volume and I do this because it's going to give the loud pop like it's done in the past. So we're going to put this all the way at -20 for now. There we go. Now I may increase the drive, I'll have to decide. For now, let's solo it. And we're going to open it again. Maybe I'll lower the distortion. We'll have it here. So as you can hear, we got the 808 is layered with the kick. Let's move it up actually a little bit. Let's have it at 16. There we go. It's going to copy and paste this one and move it all the way down yet again to 1. Alright. Now let's hear it back now with the snare for this part. If we increase it, I want to hear how it sounds. Alright, now you can still hear it still, it's going to slow down any second. But as you can see, from adding the drive, that echoes a little bit. I'm planning to eventually watch some more tutorial videos in order to figure out how to make the 808s glide. But I think for now this will do. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this down. Probably gonna have to lower the volume from -12 or to a little bit lower. There we go. Let's increase them. Alright, there we go. Let's X this out. Let's do it again for this one. Oh, I just realized. You can delete this. Because it doesn't need that for this part. Alright, so we're at 19. Hit paste. Increase it. Alright, we're in the last part now. Paste this one. Let's move it all the way down. Alright, and now the last part. So we're gonna hit the copy button. First thing I'm gonna do actually is delete the kick drum I have here and right here. Those are gonna be for the chorus rather than having them for the verses. Like I said, I want this to be a slow-paced song for the most part for when it comes to the kick drums used. It's definitely gonna come off as a hip-hop beat, but at the same time, I think it's a little different than some of the previous beats that I've showcased through this tutorial series. So I'm gonna lower the volume from 12, and we're gonna put it at 17 for now. Alright, so we're gonna listen to it back, see if I should make any minor tweaks to the beat. Otherwise, I think we got ourselves an entire beat complete. So let's play it back. And progresses a little. There we go. The last couple steps I have actually is I want to copy and paste the area where the chorus will be, so see how that sequence in with this ending of the verse area. So I'm gonna now go to the 29 mark right here. I'm gonna hit paste. Now let's listen into how that sequence is. There we go, and I think it actually flows in great from the area at the ending the verse to go right back into the chorus. Like I said, for the main area for the chorus, I didn't want to add any effects on the hi-hats, so it was like more of a straightforward hi-hat pattern I done for the chorus area. So what I'm gonna do before I save this track is I'm gonna create one more area, so that way it could be a second verse area. So we have it right here at the 13. I'm gonna copy, go to 37, edit, paste, and we're going to get this right here to close it out and put it around where the beat would end. Move that up a little bit. Alright, it's at the 53. Almost got it. Alright, got it at 62. And we go. Next step is to save the track. So we're going to hit File, Save As, and we're going to call it Emotional Guitar Sample Beat. There we go. And we're going to hit Copy. Can't find. Still saves it regardless, even though I have it in there. More or less, that's because of the track itself. I'll hit download. Oh wait, I'm gonna hit cancel then. What matters is I saved it. Anyway, this concludes today's episode of One Beat, One Take. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and a like. Let me know what I should produce for the next episode. Like I said, I plan to do one more episode of this Looperman edition of the series, and then I plan to get back into chopping up different samples like I did for the episodes I did for the series back in 2017. So, like I said, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.